Hey everybody. I had another anon forward this to me and I found it very interesting. So let me start by saying that I encourage everyone to research for themselves. I love bringing this info and topics to you, but I am researching here, so nothing is definitive. Everything is speculative. I'm asking questions just like you are, and hopefully together we can figure this out. So let's get started. The Living Internet is an interesting title, but what exactly does that mean? This article, quote, "The living internet inside of us," close quote, dates back to 2002. But how relative is this information today? Can DNA be influenced and programmed and reprogrammed by words and frequencies? Well, according to the Russian scientific research at the time, the answer is yes. They want us to be the internet. We are the living internet. And according to Mr. Gorjajev, a Russian biophysicist, and I probably did not pronounce that right, so my apologies. And I quote, "Living chromosomes function just like solitonic holographic computers using the endogenous DNA laser radiation," close quote. It goes on to say, quote, "This means that they managed, for example, to modulate certain frequency patterns onto a laser ray and with it influence the DNA frequency and thus the genetic information itself," close quote. And what exactly does that mean? Continuing on, quote, "This too was experimentally proven. Living DNA substance in living tissue, not in vitro, will always react to language-modulated laser rays and even to radio waves if the proper frequencies are being used. This finally and scientifically explains why affirmations, autogenous training, hypnosis, and the like can have such strong effects on humans and their bodies. It is entirely normal and natural for our DNA to react to language," close quote. I am not surprised that man has discovered that God's word is truth. He spoke everything into existence. All this really does is affirm for me the living word of God. Quote, "For he spoke and it was done. He commanded and it stood fast," close quote. And that's Psalm 33:9. To summarize here, the Russians focused on what influenced cellular metabolism through suitable modulated radio and light frequencies, which repairs genetic defects. This experiment points to the immense power of wave genetics. In my opinion, just let me insert here that I do not believe the power of speech should be manipulated. For example, quoting what they believe, they want us to, quote, "establish a conscious communication with the DNA," close quote. And that sounds occultic to me. And that's just my opinion, but moving on. They allege, quote, "The DNA attracts these bits of information and passes them on to our consciousness. When hypercommunication occurs, one can observe in the DNA as well as in the human being special phenomena. This process of hypercommunication is most effective in a state of relaxation," close quote. All of this sounds too sci-fi. Well, it is, in my opinion. Only those who do not believe in God seek to be God themselves. For instance, they go on to say, quote, "Researchers think that if humans with full individuality would regain group consciousness, they would have a godlike power to create, alter, and shape things on earth," close quote. This article goes on to say many things that they are doing in the name of science. My personal beliefs is all of this is very real, however very dangerous, because we first must consider what God encourages or discourages us to do. In other words, just because we can doesn't mean we should. The article goes on to express their opinion of how researchers in group consciousness have formulated theories about what group consciousness is. But once again, it is only their theories, which really means their opinions. But I digress. They want us to use our mental powers as a unified civilization to control other energies. I mean, what does that sound like to you? To me, it sounds like they're describing the Matrix. Us being used for our energies to harness control over other energies. They are saying that DNA is an organic superconductor. Superconductors store light and thus store information. And they go on to say that an ordered group consciousness creates order in its whole surroundings. So for us to become the living internet, like they intend for us to do, first we must be able to hyper-communicate with group consciousness, harnessing available surrounding energies, light or information. I'm going to have to do this in more than one part, so I'm going to end it here for now, and I would like to end it with God's Word. And I quote, "By faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the Word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which are visible." Close quote. Hebrews 11:3.